Thank you. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
You joined it?
Yeah, good content. Ja, danke mal. Nosotros vivimos. No, you wait.
Where am I going? This way.
Okay. No, this how is Thank you very much.
Street vendor.
Once, that's not your funny part. You don't brush it off.
Go see him. Go, he likes it. Go.
Come on.
Where's Sim?
You got me. Is there anything you need?
It's like that.
You want to go, Mandy?
When did you play it? No, you put it.
If you have so much people spiritual on your journey, everything will be good for you, Bob. Everything. I can't remember so much prayers that I'm saying, how much I can remember. There's so much I know, but I don't know how much I can remember. Tadpurusha, Yudhvinamahi, Mahadeva, Dhimahi, Dandorudra, Prachodaya, Dandorudra, Prachodaya. Sure. Please, Rama, Rama Rama,
Just put it.
Hare
Everybody.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You don't throw it, just pretend it on him. Don't throw nothing at him.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Shiva, Hare Shiva, Shiva Shiva, Hare Hare. Namaste, namaste, namo namah. May more or something safely.
Brother.
You like your perfume?
Not in person.
Sort of like that. You drop a bombshell up here, I never tell nobody because you know what? I grew up with you. When you wake up in the morning, you see a man standing there, that's your big brother. But I didn't see my father, but I see my big brother. Do you understand the difference here? I can phone you, I can tell you anything. I can always tell you anything because you will talk to me. That everybody you can phone, tell them anything. That's so good, yeah, bhaiya.
Night sleep. You're tired.
All he wanted to do was
It's so good, yeah, bhaiya. So good, I'm a brother. So good.
Say something to her.
Give me a 10-year-old more, you know, Mike. It wasn't your time yet. It wasn't your fault. You told me you was going to fight for it. Sunday afternoon to Thursday, you told me you was going to fight for that. You want a bit more out of it.
You left a young daughter and young grandchildren. You're not even going to see them children grow up.
Travel safe, bro. Enjoy me.
Don't take care of Catherine, don't worry. She's in good hands.
Yeah, I'm just
I'll never see you there.
I'm just a phone call away.
I'll take care of her to the best of my ability.
Tell me you want to tell me. If you want to argue with me, that's fine. I'm selling your brother. Give me a bell, let me know. I'll send you after you go home. Travel safe. Now that you passed over, you know the rules, you know the books. What's gonna have to happen. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm coming on the road to you, know. I'm gonna join you one day. When I don't know. That's what I don't know. I'll catch up with you. You go travel safe, my brother. Or rest in peace. Look, your grandkids are here. You always want to see the bike. Look, the bike. There's the bike. There's the bike. You always say, I want to see the bike. There's the bike. Look at them. One handsome looking guy. Your grandson. It's only right, Mike. You have to your grandkids. It's only right. That's a parental thing. This is your ear. Me and my father, we got to come and join you, but this is the ear. This is a young one now. This is the one that carry the name true and true and true. Love you.
Me there is your heart filled with pain. Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? When I kissed you and called you sweetheart.
Watch the loops, James.
No, hold on.
Can you just put the left foot forward, please?
मेरे महबूब क़यामत होगी आज रुसवा तेरी गलियों में मोहब्बत होगी। मेरी नजरें तो गिला करती हैं, तेरे दिल को भी सनम तुझ से शिकायत होगी। मेरे महबूब।
So, Deonarine Singh, who many of you know as Mike, was born on the 20th of August 1952 in Georgetown, Guyana. He was the second eldest of 5 children born to Basmati and Kumar Singh. They were a close family, and even though they were poor, they took comfort in knowing that they had each other. Mike, like most children, he was mischievous and very entertaining. He loved music and was often heard singing with all his heart, likely imagining he was one of the Indian actors or singers that he was obsessed with. In fact, everyone commented on Mike's striking resemblance to the famous actor Rajesh. You know, I was testing you. From the dimple in his chin to his way of speaking, Mike was his double, or at least he wanted to be. You can see the picture that was there of him. Sadly, Mike and his brothers and sisters, Lily, Ramesh, Pamela and Rudy, lost their father when Mike was 12 years old. They all had to grow up fast, Mike being a proud young man that he was. He worked hard to look after his family, working nights and doing whatever he could to support his mother and siblings. He went on to get married at the young age of 17, and he had 3 children, Randolph, Sherry and Tarek. Unfortunately, things didn't work out, and after his divorce in the 1980s, he moved to Canada, where he trained as a chef. After his chef training, Mike moved back to Guyana for a few years before making his big move to the United Kingdom in 1992. It was here that Mike started his dazzling career as a chef, first working for ITV and then at a waterfront restaurant in London where he served many famous people. He made dinner for Madonna, Peter Andre, David Soul from Starsky and Hutch, plus many more with lots of interesting stories about meeting the many people he cooked for. Some of you may not know this, but Mike had a hobby. His hobby was collecting antiques. He was also interested in watching sports such as cricket, tennis, and snooker. It was in 1997 that he met his wife, Cherry, and I think at this point he stopped collecting the antiques. He married her on the 20th of August 2002, which was his birthday. Cherry said that Mike would often surprise her with her favourite meal when she came home from work. So I guess we could say that Mike was a romantic. They eventually had a daughter called Catherine, who he always encouraged with wise words, being her greatest cheerleader when it came to her education and setting career goals. Catherine got herself an apprenticeship after college, which Mike was no doubt very proud of. Sadly, we all know that Mike struggled with health issues and became more ill in recent years. After a long fight, his health deteriorated and tragically he passed away, but not without knowing how much he was loved by his family. His family remember him as a kind and giving man who could never do enough to help people. His warm and generous personality will live on in the happy memories of his friends and family. He will be missed by all of his family and acquaintances. Now, to lose someone in death is a horrible thing, but there is a hope that we have, and the hope that we have is that we will see Mike again. In fact, God's word tells us that we will see Mike again, and I'm just going to read you a Bible verse from the book of Acts, chapter 24, verse 15. Perhaps a scripture Mike knew very well as he was a Christian. Acts chapter 24, verse 15. That reads, "And I have hope toward God, which hope these men also look forward to, that there is going to be a resurrection of both the righteous and the unrighteous." So we see from that Bible verse that there is going to be a resurrection. In fact, Jesus likened death to a sleep-like condition. It's written in John chapter 11, verse 11, "Lazarus, our friend, has fallen asleep, but I am traveling there to awaken him." So the term sleep-like condition, Jesus referred death to that, which would mean that someone can be easily woken up from. And that's what Jesus did for Lazarus, his friend. He resurrected him. So just like a candle that has a flame, the flame can go out, but all it takes is a spark of energy to reignite it or relight it. And that energy is from God. And he yearns to resurrect us. So there's no doubt in our hearts and minds that we will see Mike again, as it's God's desire to resurrect him. However, until that day comes when we see Mike again, what will we be doing with our time? Or can we make sure that we are living in a way that is free from resentment and contentions, but live in a kind and loving way with each other, just as Mike did while he was alive and while he was with us? There's a scripture in Psalm 37 which shows that if we can do that, live in a humble way with each other, peaceable way with each other, and forgive each other, then we too will have a hope. The hope is found in the book of Psalms, chapter 37. I'll just read that passage to you. Psalm 37, 9, 10 and 11. It reads, "Just a little while longer, and the wicked one will be no more. You will look at where they were, and they will not be there. But the meek will possess the earth, and they will find exquisite delight in the abundance of peace." So did you notice there will be a time where there will be no more wicked ones? In fact, the earth will only be filled with people that are meek, ones that are humble, ones that are teachable. They will live on a paradise earth. And it's under those conditions we will see Mike. So the Bible holds a future reward for all of us, life on a paradise earth, under better conditions, where our good works won't be cut short because of our enemy death. Our Creator purposes that faithful ones will live forever. But in the meantime, while we await that, can we prayerfully look to our God to give the Singh family the strength and the encouragement that they need now to continue until they see Mike Singh again, and that resurrection promise has been fulfilled. We can see that he was a singer, a travelled man, a master chef, a man who liked to laugh, a friend to many, a husband, a provider, a father, a caring grandfather. We hope to see Mike a real family man and a friend to many once again. Before I ask you to sing, we'll say a prayer for the Singh family. Jehovah God, we approach you in prayer, thanking you so much for being a God of comfort and of love. We appreciate the gift that you've given each one of us, the gift that we have to be able to be together, the gift of life. But we know in these times it's hard, and death is a tragic enemy that we have. So at this time we do ask for your Holy Spirit, your power to be with the Singh family. Help them, reassure them of the Bible passages that we've looked today, that there is going to be a time when we will see Mike very soon in the future. And we thank you for the hope that we have. We just ask that you can help us to continue to show love to each other, to strengthen each other, not to harbour resentment, to be forgiving, but to live in a way where we have the time now and the opportunity now to gel together as friends and family and be positive and think about positive things in helping each other in the current system in which we are living. So once again, we ask you, Father, to be with the Singh family, help them all at this time and strengthen them, and use us to be a source of encouragement for them. We say this prayer, requesting these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. So at this point, we have some tributes and some music that we can enjoy of a time of reflection. So the first tribute is Deonarine Singh, and we'd like to invite him to the rostrum to give his tribute.
Everyone, I am Mike's eldest son, and with the sudden passing of Dad, he's taught me that life is short. For those of you who didn't know him, who never got a chance to know him, he was a character. He could make you laugh. He would annoy you at times. Yet, you couldn't help but feel a sense of enlightenment or happiness being in his company. A few of the fondest memories I have of my dad, just one time, he used to drink drive in Guyana. Everyone drink drive in Guyana. Policeman trying to stop him to see, his details or whatever. Instead of him stopping, he just drove the car towards the policeman. Policeman dropped the warning sign he was trying to stop my dad with and jumped in the trench. Dad looked back in the mirror and all he could see was the man crawling out of the trench. He go home and he was telling me the story. I couldn't help laughing. That's one of those stories that he's told everyone, and pretty much everyone has known about it. And there was the other time the police stopped him, asked him to produce documents. He opened the glove box, grabbed a handful of papers from the glove box, handed it to the police and drove away. He didn't wait to hear what documents the policeman wanted. He just handed it and he just drove. And there was this one time, he was drunk, came home one afternoon, argued with me, and I told him off. So he chased me down the road. One of my friends had given me a knife that shaped like a gun, and it was in this little gun socket that looked like a gun. So he chased me down the road, and then he couldn't catch me, he turned back, and he's walking home. And me, a little bit angry, young and angry, I'm like, I want to shoot you with a knife. One of the neighbors saw she was one of these people that would spread every rumor possible in the village we were living in. So 2-3 days later, I heard rumors going around. They were like, yeah, I'm gonna mess with Mike. They got gun and stuff. So those are the things, those are a few of the memories that I've got of him. And I am gonna miss my dad very much. Yeah, he had 9 grandchildren, 4 who live in Britain here now. Those are my kids. When I take them to the house, he would sit and he would enjoy watching them play, mess up the house. And he would not tell him a word. If I tell him off, he would tell me off. Cherry was there, and if Jerry tell me off as well for telling my kids off. Because that's just how it was in the house. They were all, him and Cherry were so happy to have my kids in the house. It's unbelievable. He would phone me. And every time I answered the phone, how's the kids? I'm like, they're fine, Dad. Why did you beat them kids? He's like, Dad, I don't beat my kids. He's like, you better not beat my kids. Beat those grandkids. He would actually threaten me before I gave him an answer. That's how much his grandkids meant to him. My sister in Toronto, she was lucky enough to have her kids met him twice. They've got photos and memories. My brother, his kids never got a chance to meet him. We had our good times, we had our bad times. But we're not here to discuss the bad times. I would say that the good times outweigh the bad. And I'm saying that from my heart. The good times have outweighed the bad. My dad was a man of very strong character, very good ethics, and he was very, very opinionated, but he had the biggest heart ever. He would give his last plate of food to anyone he knows hungry. He would leave himself hungry. That's the kind of man my dad was. But most people, they love to be in his company. Those who didn't want to be in his company, those are the people that was jealous of him. Yeah? They were very, very jealous of him. My brother's not here. He wrote a little eulogy he wanted me to read out for him. I'm not going to elaborate, but he said that was an amazing person, well known by almost everyone in Guyana. If anyone came came to him for help in any way possible, any situation, he would never reject. And that's one thing my dad was good for. He would help anyone in Guyana. My brother said, I never quite knew what his profession was, but he has this respectable persona with him, which he could get anyone to do anything for him, even if they didn't like it. He was wildly intimidating most of the time. He was always very funny about it. He was friends with lawyers, judges, police officers, and then he would cuss them off when he was drunk. That was something none of us could resist at times. But for those years I've spent with him, I learned so much. I'm extremely grateful for everything that he taught me. Thanks for everything, Dad. This is a little eulogy from my sister. Dad, I love you. Your patience, your understanding, your wisdom, and your amazing sense of humor will live on inside us forever. You have given us gifts that are more precious than anything in this world. Goodbye, Dad. You will always live on in my heart. And finally, I've got a little poem that was written by my 4 children. It goes, every Saturday was so bright. You give and receive so much light. Generous and kind, you were the best. From all your grandkids, you have a peaceful rest.
I'd like to thank Deonarine Singh for those sentiments. At this point, with the things that have just been said, a piece of music is going to be played by one of Mike's favourite artists, Mohammed Rafi. So while the music is playing, perhaps we could reflect on Mike's life and things that have just been mentioned.
रंग बदलती दुनिया में इंसान की नीयत ठीक नहीं निकला न करो तुम सज धज कर ईमान की नीयत ठीक नहीं.
From Catherine, and it's going to be read to us by Karen, but it's Catherine's tribute.
My cousin Catherine, Mike's baby daughter, asked me to read this for her. These are her words and her dedication to her father. It is never an easy task to capture someone in speech, as words frequently fall short of capturing someone's true spirit. It is difficult to explain the type of person my dad was. He was a loving and caring man. I'll miss coming home and seeing him. I'll miss him asking how my day was. I'll miss his advice. I'll miss his jokes. I'll miss him. Knowing he won't be around anymore hurts. Knowing I won't see his face or hear his voice anymore hurts too. When I think of my dad, many special moments come to mind, and my heart breaks knowing there will be no more. My dad would always be there to give advice and taught me how to do many things. But what I learned from my dad is that life is too short and sometimes brutal. But the best way to combat all of that is with a good laugh and an ability to appreciate the small moments of happiness despite the circumstances. I'm so fortunate and grateful that I had a father so capable of expressing his love for our family and me. Although he will be forever missed, I feel comforted knowing that he accomplished more than he could have dreamed in his life. You remain gentle and loving up to your death. I am so proud to be your daughter. It is painful to lose you now. I do know that somewhere you are smiling down at us and wishing us well. If I say little, it's because my dad always had enough to say for us all. He was a teller of stories. He could befriend literally anyone, and he did. As I go on throughout my life, I will always know that no one will love me as much as my dad did. I love you, Daddy. Catherine had so much more she wanted to say. She tried to capture it the best she could, and I think from those words we all know how much she loved her father. On a personal note, I remember Uncle Mike being a big personality, full of interesting stories. He was very proud of his family, and he was welcoming and took an interest in others. As the Holy Scriptures say, death is like being in a deep, peaceful sleep. We can all draw some comfort knowing he is not in pain, and one day we will see him in the paradise, where we will create many new happy memories. Until then, we keep him very close in our hearts and our minds.
Appreciate all of the tributes so far, and with that in mind, those words in mind, there is another music or piece of music that's going to be played, which allows us the time to reflect on the things that have just been said. The song is by an artist called Engelbert Humperdinck.
Why is my heart so light? Why are the stars so bright? Why is the sky so blue since the hour I met you? Flowers are smiling bright, smiling for our delight, smiling so tenderly for the world, you and me. I know why my world is smiling, smiling so tenderly. It hears the same old story through all eternity. Love.
Another tribute, and it will be delivered by Chantal Singh. So I'd like to invite you to come to the rostrum, Chantal, to read your tribute.
For those of you who doesn't know me, I am Michael's niece, Chantal. I am here to speak on behalf of Mike's older sister, Lily, brother Ramesh, my father, and little sister Pamela, my mum and my aunt in this country. Mike, our dear brother, you have left wonderful memories with us, which will be in our hearts forever. When our father died, you became our father. We look up to you and guidance you were. You made us laugh when we were sad, sing for us and comforted us. My dear brother Michael, I will miss you dearly, and I pray your soul rest in peace. I love you, my brother, and you will always be in my heart. Until we meet again, your sister Lily. My dear brother Mike, I am not here at your funeral, but I have a daughter who will represent me, and say this to you, my brother, on my behalf. When I recall how we grew together and where we come from, the old days we share, things, and we are loving brothers. Until you leave for England, although far away, we were still close to each other. Our mother was not rich, but she taught us to always live in love. On behalf of myself and my family, I pray that the Lord have mercy on your soul, and I hope to see you on the other side. In the Lord Jesus Christ, you will always be in my heart, dear brother Ramesh. My dear and loving brother Michael, I was only 6 years old when our daddy died. He was 12. You became my father, my best friend. We grew together through hard and soft times in life. Mike, you have always made me laugh. taught me all the good things in life. You have given me inspiration of how to face life in Europe. Might you have blessed me to be with you in your final days of sickness, and you have given me the privilege to be by your side when you bid us goodbye. You made me laugh, and I will never forget your last smile. May your soul rest in peace, and I will never be able to come to terms with you not being with us. I love you, my dear brother. Until we meet again, your loving little sister, Pamela. On behalf of me and my son, Daniel Prowse, may your soul rest in peace, my dear uncle and granddad. Thank you for being a wonderful granddad to my son. You may be gone, but will never be forgotten. Your memories will always be in our heart. Rest in peace, our dear brother, uncle and granddad. We love you.
We appreciate all of those sentiments, and again, while we reflect on those sentiments, a piece of music has been chosen, and it's by the artist Mohammed Rafi.
चल उड़ जा रे पंछी चल उड़ जा रे पंछी.
We now have another tribute which will be delivered by Joshua Singh. So we'd like to ask Joshua to come to the rostrum, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends here, we're gathered here, I would say not to mourn, but to celebrate the life of Deonarine Michael Singh. To me, he was Chach, Billy Baker. He made me to use some of you a brother, a son, an uncle, a friend. I'm Joshua. I'm the eldest son of his baby brother, Rudy. Rudy is my dad, and for those of you who aren't family here, who are friends, you may know him through Rudy. Uncle Mike came to live in England in 1992. My dad brought him over. He lived with us for a couple of years. When he lived with us, we got him married, got him to stay in England, and Uncle Mike was the life of the party. Everyone who met him, he left an impression on them. If you were a lady, he would have charmed you. He was very good with the ladies. He was very witty, very funny. My personal experiences with him is that he was a brilliant uncle. We used to bond over things like sports, wrestling. He lived in our home. He always had a big heart, always gave us anything. He would give you the shirt off his back. He had a taste for expensive things. He likes nice watches, pens. He always dresses smart, likes to look and act classy. He had a brilliant Rajesh kind of hairstyle, nicely trimmed moustache. He always smelled good. And all the thing I know with him, I was just his nephew. Every time I experienced with him, it was always with love. He would always tell us jokes, dirty jokes for an 8-year-old is, telling me about girls at a young age. But that was Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike is a character. Sometimes, those of you know my brother Rick. Rick is a bit hot and cold. You take him as you get him. Some people like him, they don't. It was the same with Uncle Mike. The one thing I can say with Uncle Mike is he was always true. He would always tell you what was on his mind, whether you like it or not. And it's up to you to decide if you took his opinion, if you still want to chat to him. Because that was him. He's not going to slag you off behind your back. He's not going to talk in every anyone. He'll tell you it blunt there and then. I know he loved me. I loved him too. He loved my dad. I know him and my dad. The age gap between him and my dad is very similar to me and Dylan. Yeah. My dad grew up without a father. My dad's father passed when he was a very young child, baby. So he looked to Uncle Mike as his father figure. And my dad always tells me stories of Uncle Mike, him taking him along and him tagging along and teaching him the things in the road. I can say a thing with Uncle Mike is that my dad always tells me this, and my conversations with Uncle Mike is that of his siblings, Uncle Mike and his sister, Auntie Lily, they never hurt him. They never did him any wrong. Uncle Mike, you can never say a bad word about Uncle Mike. Never did any wrong to him or his family, or us, in my experience with him. For those of you who know Mike, you would have realized that he's very classy, stylish. He loves to talk the talk, walk the walk. Some of his catchphrases when he was excited about something, you would hear him say, "Oh my God," or "Talk to me, come on, talk to me." If you told him something and you're having an argument with him and you didn't like what he was saying, "Come on, that's besides the point now, come on, move on. That's not the criteria." If you got into a heated argument with him and you got a bit more heated, he said, "What are you going to do? You're going to sue me?" And excuse my language for the kids here, one of his favorite words, say if he didn't agree with someone or he didn't like someone, he would go, "That's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit." You know, that was Uncle Mike. He would tell you as it is. I mean, I don't think anybody who's ever met him could say that he was someone that they would forget. He's a memorable person. He's a loving person. I can say this, I can stand here and say this as a nephew. He loved me, he loved his brothers, he loved his sisters. He loved his kids and his grandkids. He loved his kids and his grandkids. I can tell you a story. He lived with us for years. I can tell you one time he was sharing a room with me and Rick. No, I'm not telling that one. Shared a room with me and Rick, and I think he got out the shower or something, and me and Rick we wanted to go in our room. We got game console. We walk in, we see Uncle Mike standing naked with his back towards us, but he's creaming his skin. So we come in, we ran out. We went downstairs with Mum. We just saw Uncle Mike was batty, it's squidgy. Come downstairs, he goes, "Susie, your boys go in there and peep me, man. Well, if they peep me, it's fine, but why are they going to tell him about batty squidgy?" You know, he took him with a picture, so, you know, you could go to him as an uncle. He never had any bad word to say. You'd always give good advice. For me personally, he'd always buy me things. You know, I mean, he likes these expensive Schaefer pens. They're very similar to Parker. I'd go there, I see him writing with one. I go, "What's that, Uncle Mike?" "Oh, it's a Schaefer pen. You know, you want it?" I said, No, take it. Anything he would give you. And I don't know what it cost. As far as I know, he's not the richest man in the world, but whatever expensive or anything like expensive or not expensive, if he could give it, he would give it to you. He's got a heart of gold. It's very sad that I didn't get to see him in his last days before he died. But I think, in a way, it's a little bit deliberate because we were planning to come and see him the week of his death. But Uncle Mike, if anyone know him, he likes to, his image is very important to him. You know, when people know him in life, he's always got a nice clothes, shirt, trousers, nice leather shoes, gold watch, his moustache is trim, his hair is looking good. And I think, in some way, he wanted us to remember that image of him rather than come and see him, a frail image of himself. And in that way, you know, I didn't get to see him before he go, but I can say that he went the way he wanted to go, and our memories of him are the ones that we knew of the past. So all I'm going to say is, to Uncle Mike, my uncle, my chach, I love you. May you rest in peace. On behalf of myself, my mom, my dad, my two brothers, and my sister, and my son Chris. Thank you.
With those expressions, we have another piece of music, and we can reflect on the things that have just been said as we listen to another piece of music by Mohammed Rafi.
जाने वालों जरा मुड़ के देखो मुझे
few expressions? If not, we will move on. Okay, someone's... Afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here on Mike's final journey. I've known Mike about 20 years. He will be sadly missed. Sometimes we say to ourselves, if we knew he was going so early, we would visit him more often. But every day, every life, work gets in the way. But be proud that we all have found time to be here today, to show our great respect to a great brother-in-law, uncle, and to my family, and a great friend. About Mike, what I noticed, he was honest, straightforward guy. He would tell it like it is, which made him popular in so many ways, for all reasons. Our hearts go out to wife Cherry, daughter Catherine, and the Singh family at this difficult time. We also lost a very good chef. He reminded me of Gordon Ramsay without the swearing. Mike had a brave smile that hid a lot of pain. And so, from me, Cynthia, Karen and Gary, it's goodbye, with love, Mike. Take care, take your rest. No more pain, brother. Thank you. Mike's grandson would like to say a few words.
Hello everyone. Uncle Michael, or Granddad's grandson, his only grandson. And I just want to say that he was a great granddad to me. And I know you guys have heard the question, what do you define rich? And for me, it wasn't his money. I think it was just the way that he cared and loved for everyone. And I think that's what made him the richest person alive. He'll always be remembered in my heart. I'll make him proud. He was a great granddad, and he never stopped caring. And he would give anything away to anyone. And I appreciate the fact that he would do anything for me and my siblings. His heart made him everything. And he just cared for everyone. I'm gonna miss him.
We have another tribute which will be given by the DeCosta and Blake family.
This message we're reading is on behalf of Auntie Cherry's two older sisters. Our deepest condolences to our dear sister Cherry, daughter Catherine and family. We are sorry for the loss of your precious loved one. Please be comforted in knowing that God took Mike gently in his arms and placed him on the lap of an angel. Although it's difficult today to look beyond the sorrows, may you look back in memory and help comfort your tomorrow. May you find the strength to face tomorrow in the love that surrounds you today. There leaves a heartache no one can still. Love leaves a memory no one can steal. Mike was a beautiful human being. He touched every soul that he came in contact with. He was a very caring and loving person, and he always cared for the well-being of others. knowing that they are okay. He was passionate about food. That's why he was a great chef, and we all loved his cooking. As soon as he saw us, he'd always tell us to go and eat. Always looking out for others, he had a big and beautiful heart.
We thought of you with love. We often speak your name now. All we have are our memories for keepsake. With wish we'll never part.
We wish we'll never part. God has you for safekeeping. We have you in our hearts. God saw you getting tired and whispered, "Come with me." He took you home and freed you of your pain. Goodbye is hard to say, but it's time to say goodbye. Farewell, Mike. Rest in peace, my beloved brother. Sorry I couldn't be there at this time, but my spirit is there with you all. Love, Sister Paulette, Sister Lovey, and family. Be strong, my sister. Love you, and I'm so, so sorry.
We'd like to thank everyone for all their tributes, all the words and expressions that have been said. It really does reflect how much Mike was loved. It's been a heartfelt commemoration today for Mike, and I'm sure he would appreciate you all being here and the words that you said and the sentiments this afternoon. The Singh family would like to extend a big thank you for all your support, the kindness, the love that have been shown and received at this sad time. Even prior to this day, many of you have shown a great deal of support with the Singh family. We'd also like to thank everyone, the Singh family would like to thank everyone for being present. Some of you have travelled very far to be here, and it's really appreciated. The family has invited all that are able to come to the family home in New Addington after the service. So as we exit the chapel, and the doors through the right-hand side, we will follow Cherry outside. The music that will be playing as we are going to exit the chapel will be a song dedicated by Catherine, singing his daughter to him. So we'll listen to that song as we exit.
Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in